some more viewers in here, so I'm giving out 1 DigiByte per viewer.
Okay, so what I should do, let's quickly bring this up. Let's have a look and see, where'd my Firefox go?
Yes, Friday the 13th. That's why it's 1,300 DigiByte giveaway today.
So how's that gonna work? Tell us what
Actually,
you're gonna do.
for you, it's the 14th.
Yeah. That's right.
So, I guess whoever at some point during the stream, I'll have people post up their address on the chat, and then I'll just kind of scroll through it and randomly pick one. I guess.
Really,
so what's going on with
2 cameras? So one's framed really nice down there, and that one not so much because it's on top of the monitor and it won't tilt and whatever.
Oh, that's alright.
It's alright. It's life. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I'm actually sharing the Zoom link, so on my stream it's like this straight on camera, the one that's like right in front of you, I guess. So it looks good on my side. I don't know which camera you're viewing on your end.
Yeah, the joys of trying to get everything set up, and then they're different cameras, so one's slightly wider angle and the other one's got like 60 FPS, but it's more narrow and it's alright. So if we go
to get my office done. I'm in my kid's playroom right now. I don't even have an office.
So what should we call you? Let's pop you into the title of this as well. Livestream with Josiah and Rob. Boiling Point LTC or
It's LLC.
LLC. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta. Yeah. It used to be LTC, but it was playing favoritism, so I don't want anybody getting the wrong idea.
Alright, saved. So people should hopefully be seeing that. Say hello in the chat if you're here, if you're live, you can hear us. I think we're good. We've got a couple. Script Skynet, Fitness Elite. What's up, guys? So
Seriously.
I can hear somebody in the background, a little voice.
Yeah. Go read. Take the dog upstairs. Okay, thank you. Go ahead. All right. There we go. All right, so how did you, are you the one that made Digi Assets or somebody else made it? You made it, right?
Well, so the Create DigiAssets website is one of a few places where you can already go and create DigiAssets. So what I've done is I'm utilizing there's an underlying piece of software. I'm basically putting a nice kind of, at least the thing that's kind of nice, front end on it for people to be able to use for issuance, basically. Mm-hmm. The idea being eventually, I want people to be able to come along and have like a spreadsheet, right? So let's say you've just sold a bunch of tickets to people, and when they were signing up, everybody gave you a DigiByte address. So rather than like taking your phone and firing it up and one at a time going send, it will be able to do it all for you. You just feed it the spreadsheet and off you go. So you get 10, you get 5 tickets, you've got another 7 tickets, all sorted nice and easy. That's the plan.
I guess it's working well on other phones other than iPhone right now.
Yeah, so iPhone is coming. I know, because I've kind of been saying this now for a little while. The problem that we had was our core iOS developer wanted to do a really beautiful kind of pure implementation. Is probably the nicest way of describing this. One that didn't use any kind of third-party services, but just acted as an implementation, an SPV implementation. He got halfway through it, 3/4 of the way through it, but hit a couple of roadblocks, and we've been trying to do things to work around it and stuff, so modifying the core wallet to work with it. Can't quite get it to behave nicely, so it's kind of at the point where he's basically gone, we'll do an API implementation like we have on Android, it'll work, we'll get it up and running, it'll come real quickly, and then we can go back to the drawing board for the other stuff later on. So that's basically the plan. Yes, it's coming. Yes, it's a bummer it's not here already, but he's like very actively working on it. Who knows? Hopefully soon.
It seems to be like, it seems like Apple's always having issues with apps and stuff. I don't know if you know Jim Flanagan. He created the Litecoin app, and everything was perfect until he started trying to get it into Apple. That's when he started running into issues, and he had to like redo a lot of configurations on the back end and stuff.
Yep.
So I guess that's like an operating system type of issue that they come across.
Yeah, they get real pissy about like so in our app originally we mentioned things like cache and a bunch of other things like that, and it was not happy. Like they rejected it on this, they rejected it on this, they rejected it on so many different things. I genuinely don't know how we managed to get it in there in the end. It was an honest like 9 months worth of just resubmitting.
Right.
It was a mission. So I've since had I've given a hand to like the Verge people, the Navcoin people, and things as well to help them get listed, because originally only Litecoin. What was it? I think it was like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, Doge, maybe even Ethereum were the only like allowed ones there. Otherwise, nothing was allowed. You just, it was not a done thing. So
it's mostly an approval thing.
Yeah. Before they'll actually let you put your shit in or approve it to be put in there, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I get that sucks. I see it pop up in my wallet though. Like if you look in my like incoming transactions, like let me pull this up. It's because I just noticed it before when I looked at my DigiByte wallet. Like you can't actually access the assets, but it'll show you like an incoming transaction of a very, very small amount of DigiByte.
Yep, and so what we've done basically in the interim to kind of stop people from accidentally burning them is basically said if it's under a certain amount, we're just going to ignore it when it comes time to send things, because we just don't want people to accidentally not realize what they're doing and have it get burned, because that would suck. So if you do have it in your wallet, what's going to happen eventually is it'll come along, you'll get an update, and all of a sudden it'll go poof, and you've got all your assets in there showing you can send them and things, and it'll just...
Yeah, because this is, I don't know if you could see that, but...
Yeah.
It's such a small amount. It's like, 6 sats, I guess, or something like that.
600 sats.
Yeah, it's a very small amount.
So
but I guess the assets in the wallet, it's just not accessible as far as being able to send it out and stuff.
Yeah, so eventually it will look like... Dun, 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 dun. It will eventually look up... I've actually got a couple more. I'll hold it up to this one first so that people can see it. So you'll actually see it. It'll say, like, assets and things like that. And then you'll be able to slide it out. So this is really hard in reverse here, but I think if I tap... There we go. So it slides out and you've got a whole list of them. For the people on the other screen, it's going to look like that. Let me just... Yeah. We've got a hello from Central Canada. Hey, nice. So DigiByte B is also asking when Digi-assets for iOS. Oh, I wish I could give an ETA. I really do. Soon. So yeah. How soon? I don't know. But do you want to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing? Because you've been having some fun trolling on Twitter. It's probably... Like, that's a polite way of putting it, right?
What do you mean, DigiHex or?
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I've actually been watching a lot of Richard Hart lately, to be honest with you.
He's an interesting guy.
He is.
He's a character.
He definitely has a different outlook on things.
Yep.
He's definitely more of like a realist. He doesn't like to sugarcoat anything or fluff anything up for you. If he's going to be a straight shooter, if he doesn't like something about even Bitcoin, he'll flat out come out and say it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I think we need a lot more of people who are okay with acknowledging certain shortcomings and things, right? Like, it's the best way to be able to improve upon them and to build on them is by knowing that they are there, rather than, like, hid in the sand.
Yeah, I mean, it can't all be, rainbows, $1 million price prediction. There's a lot of faults in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And, he put some...
Sorry, give me 1 second to close the window here. Bloody hell. Oh, right. Let's try that again without the dog going in the freaking background there. Neighbors. Yay.
So I mean, yeah, I've been watching him a lot, and a lot of his one-on-one encounters with people, his debates and stuff. And I mean, I do see flaws in his debate tactics. He kind of just tries to overpower you. He's a very smart guy. I mean, he's far beyond my capabilities as far as smarts is concerned. But just he tries to bully you around. I actually saw he went on to a live stream with Naomi and one of the existing devs for Hex, and
Naomi
he was saying,
Brockwell?
yeah. So she was talking to the dev, the former dev, and he was saying how Richards had this plan. He started with this plan. It was taking too long, so he kind of switched up the whole idea of it. They went along further. That was going to take too long, so then he actually tried to implement this whole hex like staking type of thing, and he ended up leaving the project, and now he's kind of, letting the skeletons out of the closet, I guess you could say. And so then Naomi sent Richard the URL to come on the stream.
Yep.
Came on for a few minutes, and Naomi was just like, she was giving it to him. She, basically she's like, listen, these are the questions, you got to answer them.
Yep.
I don't want to hear about this and that. And she held her own. So it was pretty
She's great. I've seen her. She's one of the few people who would go toe to toe in terms of like owning the stream kind of. She's great. She's knowledgeable. She's super friendly as well. I've also seen a lot of her stuff, but there are not a lot of people that will politely stop Richard from overpowering them. I think is probably the better way of doing it, because you've seen the likes of you saw Peter McCormick, right?
Yeah, very aggressive approach to try to shut him up.
Terrible. What an asshole, right? Like, I totally understand you don't approve of it, but
Right.
if you're talking about specifically just the like Bitcoin, what do you have? You have to sign a message or something basically to get it approved. That in and of itself did not cost anybody anything in order to be able to claim their hex.
Right.
I understand, obviously, the other side of it where he's going, but what about this? Where people are sending Ethereum. How much is it? It's shitloads of Ethereum, isn't it? Like, it's a lot of Ethereum.
Well, the last stream with McCormick and him, it was over $4 million worth of ETH.
It's
a lot. So, I mean, this is going to go on for a year. It's supposed to be this whole staking thing for a year, 364 or 365 days or something.
The adoption amplifier or something.
Right. So you put your ETH in there, and basically at the end of the day, however many ETH are in there, that the pot of hex gets divided among those ETH, and then whatever you put in is how many hex you get out of it, percentage based. So,
but someone's sitting on those private keys until then.
Yeah, I mean, as those days go on, the hex pots get smaller.
Yep.
So, I mean, people will probably put less Ethereum in there, but, I mean, who knows how many he can have, but he says he doesn't.
You don't get your Ethereum back, though, do you, at the end of it?
No, it basically converts it into hex. So once you send it there, that's it. It's gone.
So he's got $4 million out of this already.
Yeah, so you're not even really. Well, I mean, you can't stake Ethereum, but it's not like a staking thing where you get the Ethereum back. You basically burn it for hex.
Yep.
You send it to the wallet, it's gone, and you get hex back.
So Richard gets it, really.
He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I personally.
He'd say no, but he does.
Well, somebody brings that up, says, "Oh, you have." That's what Peter was doing. You have that wallet address, and he's saying, "And what if I do? How would that be bad?" Well, it's not. I guess it's not really bad on his end. I don't know how. I don't know how.
People are effectively buying Hex from that address, and because he's gone and started it, and he's paid for the development and all of the extra reviews and shit. I mean, I can understand why somebody would want to get reimbursed for that. So.
Right, but I mean, I'm sure it didn't cost $4 million to make it.
No.
And that's the first 10 days or 2 weeks, whatever it's been. So.
He's doing well for himself then. Let's be honest, it's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Well, I mean, he's basically a serial entrepreneur, so he's been doing this since he's a kid.
Yep.
his story is his parents were his father was like a newspaper delivery, and they kind of went business to business, and same thing with him. And I mean, those mindsets, people want to make money. So
I mean, what a great, especially now in this bear market that we're probably still in, despite the fact Bitcoin's up 4x this year, or it went 4x and it's come back down. But
yeah,
like
it's 2x now.
It's still relatively bearish, all things considered. So now's a great time for him to have $4 million worth of ETH. Imagine that goes back up to the all-time highs, and suddenly he's like, "Thank you."
That's 40 million probably, because it's probably about a 10x from here to get back to all-time high for Ethereum,
which is a lot of money. And he's called the tops before. He called the 20K Christmas. I think it was like July, August of 2017, back when it was like Bitcoin wasn't doing shit. He's like, it's gonna do it. So, yeah.
So I mean, I mean, personally, you can't really say it's a Ponzi scheme because he's not really promising you anything. He's guaranteeing returns on your hex, but if hex isn't worth anything,
yeah,
it's like I don't know. It's a
close.
fine line. It's definitely a fine line. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so a Ponzi scheme requires that you get new people on board in order for you to be able to get more money. So eventually, it's kind of like.
That's more like a pyramid scheme. I think Ponzi schemes are like you're promising, like, oh, you put your money in, you're gonna get 10,000% back or whatever. Pyramid scheme is like a referral tiered type of scam.
Right.
I think that's the difference between.
But it's like, to be honest, it's not specifically like either of those though. Like, it's if nobody else joined, Hex will still carry on working. There's not going to be a point where you go, right, I want to like withdraw my stuff, and it's going to go, sorry, there's not enough newbies on board right now. You can't withdraw your Hex. You've been promised Hex.
Yeah.
You've got it. Well, like, that Hex might not be worth a whole lot, but nobody's promised it's going to be worth shitloads, so.
I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 12 months.
Oh, yeah. I want to see how this plays out in a year.
He's done well for himself either way out of that Ethereum, so.
Yeah. Yep. So, however that goes. I created DigiHex to kind of, give a jab at him.
Yeah.
He's blocking me. But what DigiHex is basically like a one-to-one pegged. So anytime somebody donates DigiByte to the foundation or anything like that, eventually get it over into like those coin kit tip things, like TipBot. So if somebody's sending out $1,000 worth of tipping or donations, you'll get 1,000 DigiHex back. They're not supposed to be worth anything,
but it's a cool collectible.
Like it's like I've donated 20,000 DigiByte in my lifetime.
Yep. It
could be bad though when 10 years down the road you look at it and you're like, wow, that's like $1 million.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. So.
I could have had that 20.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, people will say, "Oh, look, he donated this much," and I mean, it's cool. It's like a wall of fame, I guess you could say, something like that. But now it's on the DigiByte blockchain, and everybody will.
Nice. So are you? Is the goal eventually that you'll send to an address, like maybe I suppose like the change address or something when people donate specifically to? Did you say the DigiByte Foundation or awareness team or something?
Yeah, it was gonna be like DigiByte Foundation in the beginning.
Nice.
I have to try to figure out. I mean, I'm not a programmer or coder or anything like that. So I guess we'd have to try to find a way that as soon as that got sent to the foundation donation address,
just keep monitoring that address or something. Yeah.
Right.
I mean it's really quite funny as well, because I remember tagging you. So they put up a post for the people who aren't too familiar. The DigiByte Foundation. So I think there was Rudy, Hans, and Rutger. They put up a post basically going, "Hey, if you want to get involved, you should and come along." And this was when I tagged Rob, and I'm like, "Haha, you should do something here, man. You can get involved." Kind of half tongue in cheek, but also why not at the same time. And it's kind of funny given here we are now, and I think this is a cool idea. Like. Sure, it's also partly like a dig at Richard, but it's also like it's cool. Like, it's nice to have those collectibles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things that we're looking to do a bit more with DigiAssets is collectibles on the blockchain. So this was something that we were looking to do with Mazer. How much do you know about Mazer Gaming?
Nothing at all.
Cool. Oh, this is great because then I get to tell a little story. So, Mazer Gaming came along and they caught up with us and they basically said, "Hey, so we're interested in working with DigiByte. Can you help us out?" Sure, yeah, no worries, happy to do it. We get requests like that all the time. Every second day, we'll get somebody semi-serious will come along. And they came along and they were like, "Yeah, cool, okay, we're gonna put you up on our website then. Yay, we're partnering with DigiByte." I was like, we haven't even figured out like how this is gonna work yet, but righto, that's cool. So they put it up on their website. They're partnering with us. They're gonna use DigiByte. They're gonna build on top of it, Digi assets and stuff like that. Sweet, yeah, no worries. That's totally cool. We've got a lot of different things we can do. We'll make something work. It's no worries at all. Happy to help out. So I spent like an hour talking with their like head honcho, like manager guy, Christian. I can't remember exactly like all of the details we talked about. But I gave him a complete rundown of Digi assets and ways they could use them for collectibles specifically. Like for example, their Gears of War team that they've got, there's a couple of players on there. It's not just one person, so you could do things over time. You could have people collect the team, for example, collect the roster for the 2019 roster or something along those lines, and you can do a whole lot of really nifty things like that. If you tune into the live stream, you've got a chance of getting like a shiny version of it, or a silver edition, which if you tap on it might play you like a special message from them that says, "Hey, thanks for being part of the live stream. It's great to have you here," and stuff. So we can do a whole lot of really cool stuff like that as well, and they can build up like a secondary marketplace for these, like people do with like NBA or NBL kind of trading cards, right?
Right.
Or X-Men trading cards when I was a kid. But and then long story short, what happened was I think it was, David Gockstein or whatever his name is. He made a post going, "Hey, I want to get into eSports." One of the DigiByte guys, I think it was Andy, said, "Hey, you should get in touch with him. He's interested in getting involved with eSports. Have a chat with him." He ends up joining this chat that we've got. There's like 10 or 15 of us in this chat, and he's like, "Okay, cool. Hey, great to be here. Thanks everybody for inviting me. I'm late to the party, but hi." And then 2 days later, he's like, "So, where should we build our stuff on? What blockchain should we use?" And I'm like, excuse me, hello? Like, we're over here, like, I've had your players download the DigiByte wallet. We've sent them demonstration assets that show off. Actually, I wonder if I've still got any, because I'll bring that up and show it. We've done demo assets. We've got the wallets. I've been talking with the management team. We've already gone over a bunch of stuff, and they've already got DigiByte up on their website. Now you're going, where do we want to build? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like, where did that come from? So, yeah, Joe was not happy that day. Joe left that chat pretty quickly after making his displeasure well known.
Yeah, I mean, I think like esports in general and stuff like that, gaming is going to be huge.
Yeah, so this
This.
is what I did. So I'll hold it up. I'll show it kind of down here. You can kind of see I've got a couple of screens and we've got reflections. This is the demo. So Nakat versus Void at the Sky Tournament. And what I'll do is if I actually tap on the picture there, it's going to zoom in, and you can actually see like a really cool play that he made there. It's hard to... It doesn't want to zoom and focus.
What is that, like Super Smash Brothers or something?
Yeah, it is Super Smash Brothers. I'll quickly hold it up here as well for the people on the other camera so that they can see it as well. This is terrible with the whole focus and stuff, but whatever. You get the picture. And so I sent that to them. And I'm like, "Hey, this is cool. Like, that's a collectible. Like, I want that. Sure, maybe I'm not going to go pay like $50 for it. But if you start to give me some of these cool ones, like especially this was a tournament that he'd done quite well in, and this is like maybe like a game-winning play or something like that. Yeah, freaking awesome. Like, that's cool." So I did. I quickly snapped it, made a nice video, created the asset, sent it to them as a demonstration and things. So, and here we are today. So
Yeah.
no further forward, because let's decide what blockchain we're gonna build on.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not mad. Don't worry.
What do you think is going on with Poloniex?
Poloniex. Well, actually, I tell you what. Why don't before I say anything, why don't we get your thoughts and hear what you think is going on with Poloniex, especially being somebody who does a lot of like trading and charting, and you've used them a bunch. What's your thoughts on what's actually happening there?
I think it was like a spur of the moment type of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, who knows who runs that Twitter account? If it's a CEO or head of whatever department over there. It had to be something where it was just you know blown way out of proportion. I mean, no other announcements have been made yet, so that's kind of
Well, have you
a
seen
little.
their listing criteria now? They brought it out. I think it was yesterday. You didn't see that one yet?
Oh no, I haven't seen what they do. Come up with a whole new thing.
Yeah, hang on. Let's try and find this. So
Oh,
let's go.
They recently just said they were going to add a bunch of new crypto. What are
Yeah.
Which isn't surprising.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, I mean, a lot of DigiByte is still in their wallet.
Oh, that went down the wrong. Yeah, they own a decent chunk of it. If I send you that on Twitter, or do you want me to send it in here? Can we do that? Dun, dun, dun. Group chat. There we go. Whew. Oh, that went down the wrong pipe. Excuse me. So, do you maybe want to like have a quick read of that? Maybe read that out as you're going, and tell people your thoughts. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it.
Let's see. So they have a form. All right. Let's see. Yeah, they're really paying attention to customer feedback. That's for sure.
Oh.
I mean, DigiByte wasn't a big chunk of, of their volume. I mean, it was less than 1%. That was after the news.
Well, so Poloniex were less than 1% of DigiByte's volume, but I never checked the other way. For the most part, I think we were around about like 18, 19, 20, give or take, on their charts. But the hilarious thing is that Tron was usually sitting around about like 35 to 40.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, like, don't get me wrong, like, it kind of sucks that we're gonna be supposedly, allegedly, losing an exchange that does 1% of our daily volume.
Well, they're doing 1% of. I think their volume is 1% of DigiByte. I don't know if that's 1% of DigiByte's volume.
Yeah, they were 1% of DigiByte's volume. Well, 1 to 1.5, give or take. It was never huge.
A small fraction. I mean, their USD pairing was nothing. It was like $1,000 a day. You know?
If that.
It was like 30,000 maybe or something like that. So.
And it was interesting because, but they've been supporters of DigiByte for the longest time. So
oh yeah, for you.
20.
I think the chart goes back to.
It's like June 2014 or something, I think.
Possibly 2015. Let me see here. Let me pull up the chart. I'll tell you one thing though, DigiByte looks really good right now as far as buying opportunities.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Don't tell me that after I've just bought a fucking house.
So they started, I guess, like February of 2015.
Right, I'm sure that we were listed before that, so maybe they just didn't like have that historical data or something. But yeah, they've had DigiByte for the longest time, so I think they actually added DigiByte shortly after Bittrex. So Bittrex added DigiByte way back when, but we also had a lot of others like Cryptsy, what's that, Mint? Fuck, I can't remember. We've seen exchanges come and go, like whatever. But
yeah, I mean, there's so many exchanges out there.
Yeah. The problem is obviously they hold a decent amount of DigiByte. Like their customers' ones.
Bittrex holds a ton. They hold a lot of DigiByte.
It's like 5% or something. Where's that chains? Let's.
I mean, there's over 20,000 markets out there. It's insane. And there's, what's there now? Almost 5,000 different cryptos. So, I mean, eventually some of these got to go.
Poloniex, There's another Poloniex. There's actually been a shitload withdrawn, so that's actually really good to see. I mean, it's still very concerning, obviously, that Bittrex have 16%, like 2 billion DigiByte.
Right. Yeah, so let's see. I'm pulling up the...
A lot of people have pulled off because that was at like 4.5%, 5% or something. So that's cool to see that down at 1.23 there, that top address.
Okay, so right now, the DigiByte BTC pairing is 8th at 26,000 volume.
On Poloniex.
Well, on DigiByte overall.
Oh, right. Are you on CoinMarketCap?
Yeah, their first pairing is Bitmark, which I never even heard of them. But they're at 250,000 in volume with their BTC pairing, and then DigiByte Tether pair for Polo is really low. Where was it? Where was it?
Even Bittrex trading is not that high right now. Like, but yeah, Poloniex were way, 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 way down our list.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. $47.
Oh, for the USD?
Yeah, for the Tether pairing, $47. So that's probably one person buying it. Either that or it could be one of the I'm not going to mention any names, but one of those people who are buying followers.
Okay, so Scriptskyne is in the chat here on my channel. He asked me yesterday. He sends me a message. He's like, "Dude, what the hell is up with this? Like, how is this particular individual in the top influencers list for DigiByte?" Like, dude, she's been like, she's kind of jumped on the bandwagon literally in the last like 2 weeks or whatever because the CoinKit, the tipping.
Yeah, the tipping.
So it's really easy to basically go, right, everybody, I'm putting up like $10 worth of shit, and ta-da, here you go. And you get followers specifically who are then interested in cryptocurrency. So it's different from if you were just going out and like buying Twitter followers like Justin Sun kind of thing. You're more likely to have higher engagement with these ones. So in that sense, yeah, it's kind of clever. But on the other sense, it's kind of like you've literally just shown up out of nowhere, and between like posting bikini pics and posting DigiByte, like, here, I'll give you 2 cents of DigiByte.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of jealous. Like, if I could post bikini pics and get people to follow me, sure, why not? Fuck it.
Yeah. I mean, you could. I don't know how many followers you'd get out of it, but
shit, I'd lose a lot of followers. I mean, maybe I'll get one of those like Borat ones with the mankini and.
There you go.
That's the stuff of nightmares right there. Let's not go there.
Well, I mean, that tipping bot it's good and it's bad.
Yep.
Because like you said, it's so easy. And DigiByte has such a great community right now, and it's so cheap that, like you said, $6, and you can basically have it's like 1,000 DigiByte for $6, basically.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, those things, they say, here's the rules: retweet, like, follow,
yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah. You don't have to follow the person.
You just
as long as you retweet it.
Yep, you get it.
You'll get it monetized.
But if you follow them and they're doing this like every like 4 or 5 days, then you're more likely to go, I'll hit the retweet button and get myself another 2 cents. Like, I mean, okay, for us in Western countries, 2 cents is kind of like not really like it's literally not worth my time to click the retweet button and spam my followers. Like, I wouldn't anyway. Like, I don't think I've ever done anything like that. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, for you, 2 cents, it's not even worth stopping and going, do I pick it up off the ground?
Yeah, exactly. And I actually tested the system, right? Because I tried to do it like 10 times. Tweet, retweet, untweet, retweet, like keep going to see if I would keep getting the
Right, every time you retweet it.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It says, "Oh, you retweeted this already, and you can't collect the."
Oh, that's kind of clever.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna try to pull one over on the system. And
okay,
it didn't work.
I wonder if you could do some stuff, right? Because so you've seen the crypto deleted tweet spot, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do something similar where you follow somebody and you notice, like, let's say you had like a bunch of different accounts, have them all then retweet it, and then all of them send it to yourself, basically, and like milk people's CoinKit monetization requests.
Yeah, I'm
from
sure.
Like a bunch of just troll accounts.
Yeah, basically you would just have to make a bot that would do that. I guess, right?
That could be funny. I mean, that wouldn't be. I mean, it would suck for genuine.
There's definitely a lot of people out there using the tip bot for good causes.
Yeah.
There's definitely a bunch of people in the DigiByte community that are using it for the correct use case.
Yeah. Well, so I've seen a couple of people who, one of the guys, and he shared something, and he basically said he was like, well, I think he was starting a hashtag or something, and he wanted to basically show support for what's going on with like Poloniex and stuff.
Stand with DigiByte, I think, or something like that was the hashtag.
Yeah, although I don't think the guy that started that actually monetized his tweet. But yeah, it was somebody else who kind of also had seen that, and he's like, cool, I want to share this and tell people about it, so I'll give you, like 10 DigiByte if you retweet it. Cool. I mean, that's kind of nifty. You can retweet it, then go to someone else that's retweeted it and retweet theirs. Oh, and do you get paid for that as well? Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Does that work?
Nice. So basically, you just have 10 different accounts and just keep going back and forth between all of them.
You could, yeah. Could you, like, cascade that kind of thing over and over and over and over? That would be hilarious.
So you get yourself, like, 20 cents.
I mean, yeah. So but what would happen, like, I wonder if you could use their, like, APIs and their retweet stuff and basically just drain all the funds from something like that. Surely there's got to be a way where you can search for tweets where it's tagged in. Yeah, I'm sure you could do things like that. It's so bad that
that would be an ultimate troll move, though, for sure.
That's funny. Surely they've got like workarounds in place to prevent that. Yeah. Surely. That would be funny. So yeah, no, let's not keep going down that path.
I guess back to Poloniex, the aftermath of that. How do you feel about Jared's role in DigiByte? As far as I had a video a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about Poloniex, and basically I think it's fun, but
yeah, I was watching that one. That one at double speed.
Hate scenario.
Yeah.
And then you have like something like Charlie Lee and Litecoin.
Yep.
And I said you can't have it both ways.
I think you even said you've got Satoshi as well. You've got like the three of them all together as different. That was what you'd said. Yeah.
Well, I mean, people are gonna complain no matter what, I guess. But what do you think is the best route for that? If you had to pick one of those paths.
I mean, I can see there's definitely benefits to each. But I like the idea of somebody having like skin in the game and being not just involved from like a philosophical kind of talking about it perspective, but I like the fact that to this day he still does commits on the code repositories. I think that's cool, and if he wants to hold some, yeah, sure, there are people who are going to basically, like, because that was unfortunately what happened with Charlie, and it also happened with Ricardo Spagni, Fluffy Pony. He would make a tweet, and people are like, cool, tweets out, shit's going to the moon, like, pumps incoming. And so it's really unfortunate that people have that kind of a perspective, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, is that Charlie's fault? Or is that Ricardo's fault? That people are misinformed about that? Like, probably not. It's a tough one because at the same, like, I can understand why somebody like Satoshi would up and disappear. It's a shit position to be in. And so that's one of the things I'm actually going to be talking with Jared. We're going to do a DigiByte and Friends, and we'll talk about some of the pitfalls of having started it up and the fact, like, what he's seen over the last 7 years now of having been in this space. And the drama that comes with it, and the personal attacks, and the SIM swapping attempts, and all of that sort of shit. But at the same time, there's a certain amount of nobility's not quite the right word, but you know what I mean. Like the fact that he's still stuck with it. He's still invested in it. He still mines it. You know, he's not like a rich dude or whatever, but he's still got a little bit that he's mining that he uses to pay for certain servers and things, and stuff like that. So I still think there's a certain amount of respect that I have for that. Despite the fact, I mean, even he would agree that his tweets that he was making were not professional. Like, they weren't intended to be. I think Crypto India was basically, she said to me, she's like, do you think he was very professional? I was just like, no, not at all. But why the fuck should he have to be? It's
Yeah, but that's the downfall that you get when you have something like that.
Yep. Yeah,
Everything
so,
under the microscope.
yeah, it's kind of like rock, hard place, stuck between them, but you know, I'm not entirely sure that any one way is right or any one way would specifically be bitter.
Right.
I mean, I like the fact that he's still involved. So in that sense, kind of yes, because Satoshi is obviously not contributing shit. And Charlie, although he's commenting occasionally on GitHub, that's all that he's really done. He's given a couple of talks and things recently, but for the most part, he's pretty hands-off.
Well, he's, heading up Mimblewimble.
Well,
It's him. Well, it's him and
Andrew.
Andrew Yang and I forgot the other guy.
No, Andrew Yang's the politician.
Yeah. Well, no, he's yeah. They're both Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
But the guy that's on board now, who's from Mimblewimble,
David, I think his name is?
David Burkett, yep.
Yeah.
So he's now the lead dev over there, but Charlie...
Well, he's not the lead dev for Grin, but he's a developer of a, was it Grin or Beam wallet?
Yeah, Grim, I guess the language, Grim
it's
plus.
a second wallet for that particular blockchain.
Right.
It's not like the primary wallet, from what I understand, like the primary core equivalent wallet. But so he's done a shitload with it.
Yeah.
But he is, like, now that he's kind of come on board, which happened a couple of months ago, he's very much been hitting that up. But up until then, I think it was like August, September, and we're looking at that tweet that he's still got pinned on his Twitter going, I am now focused on fungibility and nothing else, and sure, it'll be here in 2019. And I'm like, come on, it's December now, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of had to take a back seat. There was a lot of stuff going on. He's highly involved with the foundation, so they were doing a lot of adoption stuff. The Dolphins.
Well, they did the Dolphins and the UFC stuff, yeah.
Glory Kickboxing and a number of other things as well. So there was a lot going on with that. So I mean, I guess when you're involved with that type of stuff, it just time goes by very quickly.
Yeah, it's really funny as well because I mean, that's specifically why every time people ask, they'll say, so when iOS, when's DigiAssets? And unfortunately, like you've asked me that as well, and I'm sure you've seen me kind of just like dancing around the answer a little bit, going, I'm not gonna say it's happening in 2019. Like, so we're still, what are we? We've got like 2 weeks left in 2019. It could still very well happen. But I'm not going to make any promises because I know how development works, and I know that you can hit a snag, and then all of a sudden, poof, there goes like another 2 or 3 months. Especially when people are doing it in their own, like, free time.
Yeah, it's like whenever you get time to work on it, You're not doing it full time, so...
Yeah. Like, I don't know about you, but when I get home in the evening, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I just want to go and I'm just going to play some Dota, or I want to play Payday and just go rob a fucking bank. Like... There are days when it's like, yes, I'm super motivated and I'm going to go make a video and I'm going to do cool stuff and it's going to be awesome. And then there's other days you're like, give me a beer, I'm going to sit down and just blah.
Yeah, I hear that for sure.
So I think he kind of shot himself in the foot there saying 2019. Like, had he just gone, well, fungibility, that's on the roadmap because that's already been on the roadmap. I think it was it 2017 they were going to do something as well?
I'm not really sure. Not too sure about that. But I mean, eventually it's got to be implemented.
Let's bring up the Google machine and find where that went because I'm sure there was another one. Where was that? I'm sure there was another one. That got swept under the rug real quick though. Ah, Mast. That's right. Or
Mask. That's what it's called.
yep, MAST.
Oh, Mask.
Um, Let me pop this in the chat and let me send this to you. Does this work here if I send it in Zoom?
Yeah. Yep.
So Mast was coming mid 2017 was when it was all being talked about and it was gonna happen, and then shortly after, I think it was kind of like it was still being talked about a little bit in like October, but then after that it was just gone, just swept completely under the rug. There was nothing. So it's cool in that respect that they've got like these Litecoin improvement proposals in, and I think that's great. It's a good first step. But that's
I mean, I love the fact that Litecoin is actually the test net for Bitcoin. I like that aspect of it a lot. I think that in itself is very valuable because you're basically testing it on a network that's not valued as much before you put it onto, say, the gold standard, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So
I've
in that
debated that in the past, though, about how much value you should give to something like that, I suppose. Like, especially seeing as the code was already live in a bunch of the wallets for Bitcoin and it was being activated before Litecoin then merged it. Like, I think it was 6 months later before Litecoin merged it.
right.
So, but I do obviously, he was the one that did put up a bunch of money into a SegWit address and was like, come and get it.
Yeah.
But could he have just done that on somewhere else? He could have done that on Vertcoin or...
Bitcoin has its own test net, but who the hell uses it? Nobody's gonna put.
It actually gets a lot of use. Have you seen it? Like it gets.
Oh yeah, but is somebody gonna put a bounty on it? Like,
yeah, there's no value.
So there's exactly. It's an invaluable asset. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Litecoin is a multi-billion-dollar asset right now.
Yeah.
So.
But to be honest, like that's the only thing that they've done which has been a test net. Was they got SegWit before Bitcoin. Otherwise, it's always the other way. So
yeah, I mean, development's definitely slow, but I mean, look at Bitcoin. What have they done in the past couple years? SegWit after.
Yes and no, because that's a tough one, right? So, in terms of being a test net and testing things before Bitcoin, everything that they've done has been pulled from the Bitcoin codebase. But when it came to SegWit was activated on Litecoin first, and Charlie did put up his money. At least I'm pretty sure it was him. He claimed that address and that, like, after the fact, and was like, "Yep, this was me." So yeah, cool. Like, let's give him credit where credit's due. Absolutely. This is a ballsy move as well because nobody else was doing that. Like Satoshi sure as shit wasn't. Nobody from Blockstream was. So yeah, like that took guts, and I like that. But at the same time, everything else that's gone on in Bitcoin, like so the PSBT, partially signed Bitcoin transactions, the likes of RBF replaced by fee, which Litecoin has actually pulled out. You'll notice that's not in the wallet. And a bunch of other stuff like that is literally just merged into Litecoin after the fact. So, like, look, let's be honest, we do the same with DigiByte for the most part as well. But we've done a bunch of other things, like so we've done DigiShield, the multi-algo fork, multi-shield, DigiSpeed improvements, AutoCrypt, further multi-shield improvements. ProgPal's coming real soon, hopefully. I'm hanging for ProgPal. I don't know about you, man, but I love the idea of being able to GPU mine. I think it's
yeah.
great.
I mean, I love the fact that DigiByte is decentralized in the mining aspect, and to me, that's censorship resistant. I think Bitcoin and Litecoin are non-censorship resistant in that aspect because you have to have ASIC mining equipment. Nobody, not your mother couldn't mine on a computer. So you have to, it's specific to you going out spending $1,000 on an ASIC miner or whatever they cost now. Not everybody can do it. I can't open up my laptop and mine Bitcoin now. Anymore.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, that's one of the interesting things as well, is so when you start looking at privacy, this is something that really kind of tickled my noodle when I was thinking about it originally just before AutoCrypt implementation, was all of the exchanges at that time were doing like KYC and AML. It was all starting to come out of the woodworks, and you've got to, like, if you're going to be using anything more than like $100 worth, We must know who you are. We've got to know where you live. We've got to know. We've got to have your photo. We've got to have your passport. And I'm like, this seems ass backwards. Like, I don't like the idea of me giving over my passport and stuff to all these other places. I don't know about you, but I don't think it's cool.
No.
But if you're GPU mining, even if you're trading your power for a little bit, like let's say you're only getting like 50 cents a day.
Mm-hmm.
You do it every day. You keep going every day, and you just like you're running your computer for, I don't know, 12 hours while you're at work or whatever, or maybe just while you sleep in the evenings or something. You finish up your games at night. You're like, right, cool. I've had my fun. I've been playing Payday. Gone and robbed some banks. Right, fire up the miner. Off to bed. Wake up the next morning and you shut it down when you're sitting down to check your emails. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden, what you've got is after the space of about a year, because you've been mining, you've got yourself. Let's say it was 50 cents a day. You've now got yourself $150 worth of cryptocurrency that has no trace to it. You haven't done KYC with your mining pool. You haven't done it with like an exchange, but you've got that. Like that's effectively like completely clean funds. So even if we don't have Mimblewimble and stuff like that, cool. Yeah. Like it's until you start giving people your address and your details and things, it's untraceable.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was quite cool. I don't know, how did we go down this path? We were talking about something. ASIC mining, right, and not being able to buy it. Like, that's a huge barrier to entry.
It's not a simple thing for everybody to do, is, running ASIC miners.
Yeah. It's not easy, but at the same time, because of the ASIC security, there's still a lot more security involved in it to prevent any kind of double spends compared with the likes of, let's say, Vertcoin, which is GPU mined.
Right, yeah.
So you can fire up a botnet, which has happened before, like especially when they were CPU mined. You can fire up a botnet, poof. But there's not enough like generic purpose computers to be able to do that with Litecoin. Litecoin's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where ASICs are kind of nice, because obviously you've got that security. Now it sucks that the hash rate is like a third or something, 35% of what it was a couple months ago. That means there's definitely a lot of hash rate floating around.
It's about 70% down.
What?
It's down really low. It was I think it was like 550 or something around halving. I mean around the top, like in June. I think it's like 140 now or something like that. It's really low.
Let's find a graph. BitInfo charts, that'll tell us.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's down a lot.
Yeah, that was at like 500 and... Where are we? Does it tell me 530? 540. Shit,
and what's in that?
It's 130.
Yeah, it's really low.
That's why Coinbase put up their confirmations then. It makes sense. I was like, maybe Coinbase are just being like dicks about it for the sake of it. Like,
I think that's like the December low too from last year, the hash rate. I think it's pretty close to that. A lot of people were, speculating on the halving, fired up those miners, got some Litecoin,
but
cashed out.
What are they doing with those miners now? Like, nothing.
Well, I mean, whatever's script. I guess you can mine DigiByte, you can mine...
We're not, I promise you, we do not have like 400 terahash.
Oh, no, but... So I had a good question for you. With the multi-algo.
Yep.
Is DigiShield is the thing that prevents it from the 5 consecutive blocks?
Well, sort of. So DigiShield was when it was like just one algorithm, which is what I suggested for Litecoin, because it will also help to stabilize the block timings.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get a huge influx, so let's say like for example right now there's 130 terahash. Let's say in the very next block they threw in like all other 400 terahashes worth.
Yeah.
DigiShield would very, very, very quickly, over the course of just a couple of blocks, adjust things and tidy itself up and maintain that 15-second block time. And then if they all shut down again and often disappeared, again, the same thing, that'd be okay. Definitely like less of an issue when it comes to things like Litecoin, which is the dominant hash power in script mining. Script mining, sorry. But for DigiByte, where we're definitely a minority in 2 of our 5 chains, it makes a big difference. And so we are it stabilizes between all of them. Actually, have you seen DigiStats?
I think I was on the site the other day.
Let's pop this in the chat here. Been getting people in mining Litecoin to switch to DigiByte to post it on Twitter videos. Yeah, so Script Skynet is talking about that. So people who were mining Litecoin have been mining DigiByte, but at the same time, there's also profitability to take into account, because like we can't have everybody who's mining Litecoin start mining like DigiByte or something else, because like we don't have the block rewards to sustain that shit. Like it's genuinely just not worth enough. So you can see here all of them going up and down and up and down. And so what happens is, there's no limit on the number of consecutive blocks.
Well, no, I thought you couldn't do, like, say, I thought you couldn't have like 5 consecutive SHA-256 blocks mined.
You can, but it gets more and more and like exponentially more difficult. So every 5 blocks, the hash rate that you need doubles. So let's say, for example, right now, you threw all of the mining power from Litecoin at DigiByte. What's the difference, actually? Let's quickly theory craft this, just for shits and giggles. Where's what to mine? Because I know that Litecoin has a truckload of scrypt hash power. Litecoin Cash, Litecoin Plus, Litecoin... What the fuck?
Let me see. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of Litecoins. The only one that got any free publicity was Litecoin Cash.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they?
Scam. Well, that was actually from like February of 2018, the Litecoin Cash, and I think that's why it went from like 105 to like 250 within like a few days. I think that was like a week or something. Yeah, it's funny because Litecoin Cash was like $9 or something at one point. It's probably less than a penny now.
Wow. Where's my chat gone? Why can I not put something in the message there? Hide chat. Show chat. Where's my... There we go. Okay. So if we compare these two, just for shits and giggles, right? So right now, arguably, based on security of your... Like, the network, the hash rate is your security.
Right.
There is 70 times? 130? Yeah, okay. 65 times more hash rate on Litecoin compared with DigiByte. So what happens is you'd mine 5 blocks. Let me bring this up, actually. Let's go Excel. Wonder which screen this is going to open up on. Here we go. So let's round it down and say we're at 2. So we're at 2. So after 5 blocks, we would be at 4. After that, we're going to be at 8. After that, we're going to be at 16, 32, 64, 128. And then you're stuck. So we are... 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So you could, if you took all of that Litecoin hash power, 100% of the Litecoin network, and threw it at DigiByte, you get yourself 35 blocks. That's not too bad.
Blocks?
So 35, how long is that supposed to take? 35 times 15.
It'd be like 8 minutes, maybe?
525. So yeah, let's say 9 minutes worth. But obviously, because you have that much hash power, you're gonna mine it faster because your initial blocks are gonna be found really, really, really fucking quick. So this is why we have things like Bittrex with 40 confirmations, because they basically figure after 40 confirmations, you've exhausted the whole entire network. Would have to be like collaborating, or what do they call it? Like a cabal, a consortium, or whatever. What's the right word? They call it like a mob almost. But so you would basically, could you imagine like a firmware bug? Let's say, for example, like this is worst case scenario, and all of that hash power, like 100% of that whole network is going, we're going to attack DigiByte. It's like, shit, so you would get 35 blocks. 35 blocks is not insignificant. That's still decent. That's 8 minutes worth. But at the same time, you look at that and you go, right, that's 100% of the network. If they had that 100% of the network, they could double spend like for eternity on like Litecoin or Litecoin Cash or whatever the fuck. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's a lot of people collaborating, and collaborating's the wrong word, but you know what I mean? So
yeah. So Lisa in my chat asked about the Litecoin hash rate drop. Typically, she's saying, isn't that the plan though? Part of the program when the hash rate of Litecoin drops after halving. I'm trying to find I forgot when Litecoin's first halving was. I think it was like
Oh, that's Litecoin Lisa. Hello. I've chatted to her a couple of times on Twitter and
August.
things.
I think it was August of 2015. I think.
It's supposed to be every 4 years, right?
So it must have been August 2015. So Litecoin's hash rate was probably around 1.4, and then after halving, it dropped as low as just under 1. So I mean, you lost about 50% of your hash rate there. If you go to today, I mean, you lost far more than that.
Yeah, it's like 70, 75% or something.
Yeah, it lost a ton.
It's an interesting one. So on the one hand, right, like let's be honest, this is cool because it secures the network. And 120 terahash, whatever, that is so much. Like what does a GPU get if you're, let's say you're GPU mining a hash rate. Let's find out just for comparison, just so people know like how many times more secure it is. Here we go. What? 33 kilohash is nothing. Jeepers. So a GT 710 will get 33 kilohash on Scrypt. GTX 750 will get 240 kilohash. There we go. Okay. So 240 times that by 4 to get you 1 gigahash. Times that, so you'd need 4,000 graphics, 4,000 of those GTX 750s to get yourself 1 terahash. And Litecoin's currently sitting on 130 terahash. So you'd need a metric shit ton of graphics cards still. And it's not feasible to attack, and so that's kind of where ASICs are nice, despite the fact that the hash rate's down. What was the actual question, though, specifically? It was a good question, but I can't remember how she...
Well, basically... Hold on a second, I think I lost it. Is my sound back, guys?
I can hear you.
All right, so the question was... I mean, basically, she's wondering if that's... I guess part of the way it works, really. You know, basically that is what happens. You get a lot of speculation around halving. People ramp up their miners. They want to collect as much of, you know, whatever is Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever else halves. And then, you know, once the halving happens, and they cut off their miners, basically, because it's time to cash out. And after that, there's always a dump. So, I mean... It's funny because we were at $22 last December, right around the same amount of hash rate. Now we're pretty much double that, same hash rate, half the supply. So, I mean, it was expected. I actually didn't think it was going to go higher than, I think I had like 115 as my top. So it was going to be 105 to 115, and then I figured somewhere in the high 40s would be the bottom after the dump. So, I mean, I got pretty close, unless it dumps further, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting, like, it's to be expected, really, like, with these big halving events. That's what it is. And so in that respect, I do like the idea of a more kind of smoother emission curve.
Yeah,
it does suck, because then, on the other hand, people are like, I want my pumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't get that. It's not going to happen every, like, 4 years or whatever, so...
DigiByte is definitely lacking in the pump. They haven't had one of those in quite some time.
How much do you know about the one that happened in mid-2017?
The first one or the second one?
Yeah, the one...
in the beginning of 2017, like in May.
Yeah, June.
Super hard. But I think that was, what was that, a McAfee thing that did that?
No, that was in November. That was the second one.
Oh, that was November. He said coin of the day, DigiByte.
Yep. Yeah, he'd been talking with Jared for like a couple weeks sort of thing. He was originally DigiByte was going to be the first one, But then something else happened, and at the last minute he changed his mind. Whatever, like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We didn't find out until, like, after everything had gone down.
Yeah.
I remember it was like 2 a.m. and I'm sitting in chat and I'm like, what the fuck is happening with all these buy orders on Bittrex right now? Like, what the fuck? And
Yeah,
everyone...
I mean, let's see what the percentage was. It was some crazy.
But the one that was earlier, right? The one in May and June. What do you know about that one?
That was 41. That was 41,000%. That one, the one you're talking about.
In June or in?
Yeah, in May.
Yeah.
It was March to May, so it was like 2 months almost. But there was 1 week where it was just insane. It was
where are you looking at those charts? Is that CoinMarketCap?
No, Poloniex. Well, on TradingView.
Ah.
Yeah, so basically DigiByte did like 1,000% in 1 week during that run.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, the fractals are very similar. The moves that it makes.
Yeah, so what did it actually get up to in terms of sats? 2,000 sats?
Yeah, it was up there.
2,200? Yeah, holy moly.
Poloniex went up to almost 2,700 at one point.
Jeepers.
Yeah, and it's, what is it now? 92 now. Oh, it actually came up a bit.
So, I don't know if you saw me, like, some dude this morning was talking about Microsoft using DigiID. And this is very topical. Mm-hmm. Microsoft are not using DigiID. Don't start that shit. They're just not, like, don't. And this guy's like, but it's on the store. It says, and look, it integrates with Microsoft Internet or Edge or whatever. I'm like, that's not Microsoft that wrote that fucking, like, blurb. They didn't do it. It was the Anthem ID guys. I love that they've got it on there. I think it's freaking awesome. That's totally cool. But stop that shit. Like, no, Microsoft are not using DigiID. Don't go telling people that.
Maybe it's a pump tactic.
Yeah. Yeah, so what happened back in the day? So, quick little bit of history for people who haven't been around, because it's an interesting story. Jared had the DigiSign. Mm-hmm. He started it up, he'd been living in Hong Kong, company was going well and things like that, and he'd entered it into the City Tech for Integrity challenge. That's cool. Like, they won, like, some prize of some description, whatever, and he ended up being asked to remain on as a panelist for something else. I don't recall the exact specifics. But that's what you'll see. So if you're looking there, you'll see what happened in around about... I'm looking on CoinMarketCap here. So that was somewhere around about the end of May, like 22nd of May, 29th of May. And then what happened around about that time as well was somebody from the community was integrating DigiByte with the Minecraft server. Mm-hmm. It was his own personal Minecraft server, and the idea being what you could do is you could go along and as you mine, whenever you mined like diamonds, and you then, I think you had to take them and put them into like a chest or something, it would then give you DigiByte.
Oh, that's really cool.
It was fucking awesome, and it worked really good. It was only up for like a little while though, like a few weeks or something, I think. I don't recall the specifics. Mm-hmm. But what happened at the time was people in Telegram and things like that were like, Microsoft and Minecraft are partnering with DigiByte? No way! And they weren't. Microsoft had nothing to do with this. But unfortunately at that time, Jared was busy at the City Tick for Integrity Challenge, doing all of this stuff with DigiSign, wasn't paying as much attention, and so what started as a rumor escalated and escalated and escalated, and so if you dig back, you'll find there's a bunch of like Medium articles and news articles from certain moderately reputable places which basically went, yeah, look, we've looked into this and we can't find anywhere that Microsoft has actually said they're investing in DigiByte or anything. They didn't. Right. It was all bullshit. Nobody ever... It started off as somebody basically completely misunderstanding something and going, yes! And so, yeah, if you see me and I'm on Twitter and I'm talking about something like this, where the guy's like, yeah, Microsoft are using DigiID, and I'm being a dick about it, that's why. Because then you have this whole thing in June where it went all the way up to, like, 2,700 sats, I think you said?
Yep.
And it didn't need to.
Fun.
People's hopes and dreams will have been crushed when they come and they're buying in at 2,700 sats, only for it to come plummeting back down. I'm much more of a, I would rather organic and genuine growth. So
I mean, now we're pretty much right where it was before that happened. Basically, we're right around. I mean, we're at what, 92 sats now, and last year, I mean, it was, well, not last year, but that time frame you're talking about in 2017, it was right around like 80 sats. So
yep.
we're pretty much right in that same area now.
I remember, so it had been bouncing around like the 90 sat area in like November for a long time, because that was when I got married.
Yeah.
And I was over in Fiji, and I didn't have like a lot of DigiByte. I think I only had like, it might have been like $2,000 or some shit worth at the time, $3,000, because obviously price going down slowly, little bit. I ended up selling, I think, at like 86 sats or whatever, because I'm over there, and I got like $3 or $4 grand, and that paid for like my honeymoon basically. While I'm over in Fiji, we're able to go and, you know, you want to sit by the pool and have some beer and stuff. Shit you not, like the very next week.
Yeah, it pumped to like 800 sats.
I'm like, oh, why me? So shit happens, right? Like,
it is super volatile. So when it runs, it's gonna run hard.
It's the nature of the beast, and so it's like that's kind of one of the things that I'm a big proponent of. Is my mom often talks to me. So as part of us like buying the house and things at the moment was I had to sell most of my DigiByte, so I still got a little bit that I've kept off in a side wallet that I haven't told her about. So to my friends who are watching this right now, don't tell her. I've got like $1,000 of DigiByte, right? So I had to sell it to basically pay for the deposit for this house so we could move in and move on with lives, and you know, whatever. That's cool. I was mining it. I was buying it at much higher prices, and it kept going down. Whatever. One day, hopefully, that'll all turn around. But one of the things that keeps coming back to mind, like I'm talking with my mom about it, and even she says this, is she's like, why should I buy it? Like, and that's kind of a really hard-hitting question, because this also applies both to Bitcoin and Litecoin as well, as like, why should she buy it?
Right.
Price speculation? Sure. Like, fucking great. It's a really good idea to be speculating that kind of thing, especially given she is, she's, I don't want to say her exact age because that's kind of rude, but she's not super young anymore. She's not old. She's still got another decade or so before she's gonna retire. But, but she's got like another decade or so before she's gonna retire. So it's kind of a case of, well, maybe take a little bit of risk.
Yeah.
Why not have some of your retirement funds? Why not be putting like even $20 a week or whatever into it, and speculating on it if you are interested in speculation? Cool. But otherwise, what I find really hard is she'll say to me, why should I be buying some? And this is what I like a lot about DigiAssets, is it gives her a reason to have some in her wallet. Even if it's just to send a little bit back and forth with these other DigiAssets, collectibles. Maybe they're frequent flyer miles for the local Starbucks or something, you know? No, we're not partnering with Starbucks, but...
There you go. The price. Oh.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
That's an exclusive.
Yep. So, but it's an interesting one, right? Because like, why should somebody, like, that's what I struggle with a lot, is why, well, aside from the speculation, there's not a lot of things, even with Bitcoin, that you can do. Like, sure. Yeah. So I like a lot about what Rob says. What Johnny Litecoin says for using DigiByte, Litecoin as payments. Man, I need to go get some more water. And he says, like, use it as a payment method so that you don't have to worry about the likes of, like, if you're going to cannabis dispensaries, for example, and the problems that they've had. Or what Verge are doing when it comes to things like Pornhub and their models and things not being able to receive payments because PayPal shuts them down. Sure, so that sort of stuff really sucks. But for like 99% of people out there, using your Visa and MasterCard just works. And it's a moderate inconvenience when PayPal says, we're actually going to take like another 2 months before you get this $1,000 that you can cash out.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. That's one of the things, I don't know about you, but I struggle with that a lot. And giving people a reason to want it. Like, for more than just the speculation.
Such a big change. I mean, people don't think it's a big change. Like, they think it's just normal because they're already in it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they started, it was like a huge. I mean, it's just a whole mindset thing. You know, you go from like it was gold and whatever checks, and then
Yeah.
slowly make that. But it's not like it happens in a couple years. It takes decades to make those moves.
Yeah, I still got like an auntie, and she does nothing but writes checks. She doesn't have an FPOS card, credit card.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? Are you freaking kidding? How do you pay for your Netflix subscription?
Yeah.
So, but it's an interesting one. Like it is a big who was it? Rebecca, I Make Lemonade. She posted something up on Twitter basically going, ask us some questions for our panels. And one of the questions that I asked them was, they said, look, if there was any one thing that you could do that would make life easier, this was the question for her to pass on to the panelists, what would that thing be, like, in terms of making life easier for cryptocurrency adoption? So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on something like that would be. If you could summon up a magic, like, lamp and rub that lamp and all of a sudden, poof, your genie's like, have a wish. What would your wish be to make cryptocurrency adoption easier?
Less technical jargon, I guess, and less
I'm good
overall.
at that.
It's just between the amount of crypto that's out there, the amount of wallets that are out there.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a totally different mindset. Now having to be your own bank is like just a huge step. You have to worry about the seed keys, and if you ever lose those, your fortune could be gone.
Yep.
People are petrified about that. They would rather just stick their money in the bank.
Yep.
It doesn't make anything. You actually pay to leave your money in the bank. They don't care, but it's there. They think
it's someone else's responsibility.
Right, exactly. That it's insured. It'll be fine. It's been around for hundreds of years. Blah blah blah. Why would I want to take on that responsibility? If I lose it, God forbid. It's too much, I think, for a lot of people. And for that, I think it's just going to take a really long time. I don't really think there's like a magic thing that you can do unless you have like a third-party trust where there's either crypto banks or, something similar to that, something similar to today's banking system where people can leave it there and not have to worry about it. But then you have third-party trust.
Yeah.
So there's like online. Do you want to be your bank? Yeah. I mean, it's hard. So
I think
a
as
lot
well.
of us want that responsibility,
Yeah.
because we're educated in it already. We're already comfortable doing it. We already know the current monetary system's shit. But for 99% of other people, it's like slapping them in the face like 10 times. Nobody wants that.
Well, especially given it's an interesting one. You mentioned it, obviously the technical jargon and things. And that's something that I'm very guilty of as well. And same for when it comes to like choices. So I'm a huge proponent of the idea that people can choose whatever works best for them. So if you use Koinomi, if you use Exodus, if you use Jax, if you use the Loaf wallet, Bread wallet, or the DigiByte wallet, or if you happen to use a Garda wallet, Edge wallet. Who else have we got? We've got BitFi. We've got... Name some others. Elipal.
I gotta throw a name.
We've got Trezor. We've got Ledger. We've got CQX wallet.
So many different wallets. I mean,
So
and people, these are SegWit addresses, and this one has lower fees, and this one's faster, and this one, post transactions right away, and it's crazy. It's way too much.
So then like my mom comes along and she'll basically be like, okay, what wallet should I use?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. And if you are invested in a lot of different ones, if you're invested in Bitcoin, Litecoin, DigiByte, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, you're not going to have every native wallet. You don't want 5 different wallets. It's
Those
crazy.
are all my wallets plus the DigiByte app. So.
Wow.
1, 4, 12. Yeah, so I got 15 wallets.
I have the DigiByte wallet. I have
It's a good choice.
The Lite wallet now, which I don't use. I don't like it. Well, I haven't used the new one.
That's the Bread wallet one, yeah?
Well, that's Loaf, but now they call it Lite wallet.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's based on Bread wallet. So are we.
Yeah. Yeah, but that I had a lot of issues with it. I would have to always sync the blockchain and have to delete it and re-download it and put my seed keys back in. So I don't even use it anymore. And yeah, my EliPal wallet. That's really the only thing I use because it
Right.
stores so many different cryptos and
Yeah,
my
it's a
cold
tough
storage.
one then. It's like, so okay, now I've got, like I've just shown, there's 15 wallets in there, and my mom comes to me and she goes, which one should I use? I'm like, well, there's benefits to using, let's say, Koinomi, because it uses their servers and things like that, and so you're reliant on their servers, and you're less likely to have connection issues, but at the same time, you're relying on their servers, and so if they happen to have issues,
Yeah,
you can't just change to a different node.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's tough. Like, what I'd really like is the ability to just go, you know what, just use that wallet and just fucking forget about it. But I like that people have a choice as well.
yeah. You got to also worry, like I said, with SegWit. I mean, the EliPal used to not be able to send to SegWit addresses,
Yep.
so now you're like, oh, this I can't send it to Coinbase because this wallet won't send it there. Now I have to use a different wallet, but I don't have anything in there. So now I got to send it from this wallet to that one, and
Yeah.
it's,
And
it becomes
especially if you're like, let's just say, roughly middle-aged lady who doesn't really give a shit about this for the most part. This
yeah,
is why we've only attracted like the people who are really like into it and are either like the whole monetary libertarians or techno geeks or a combination of both or somewhere along that scale. Like
there's a lot of other people out there.
yeah.
And how do you expect to get that knowledge out to places where they don't even have a good educational system?
Yep.
Where they're not going to be able to teach you the technological aspects of it. They're not going to be able to teach you how to use a wallet or how to store seed keys and all that stuff. Third world countries, that's what we're supposed to unbank or whatever they want to call it. But how are you going to do that when there's no, you know, there's no education for it in place?
Well, that was an interesting one that we were talking about, was the initial kind of onboarding process. And so we have a couple of screens that are basically just like, welcome, you can send, you can receive, it's great, ta-da! But we don't actually tell anybody anything about it. So I kind of almost wonder if we need two different options when you fire up a wallet, and I think this would actually go a long way to helping new people, is if you could say to them, what we're going to do is I'm going to recommend that you download the Lite wallet. And in this wallet, when you fire it up for the first time, it's going to say to you, are you a returning user or are you a newbie? Cool, I'm a newbie, I don't have my recovery phrase. Or you can say, I'm a returning user. If you're a returning user, cool, pop in your recovery seed phrase, you know what's up, sweet, done. You're cool. But if you're a newbie, what we're going to do is we're going to actually take you through a couple of things real quick. And we're going to explain to you, this is why you need your seed phrase. Your funds are stored in the seed phrase, not on your phone. So you must keep your seed, and we can go through and do a couple of things like that.
Right.
I think that would go a long way towards helping new people. Because I think for the most part, we kind of just throw them in there and go, ta-da, like,
Yeah.
know
Here's
this stuff!
your own thing now. Yeah, there you go. Lucky you,
Yeah. What was that? You don't know what a SegWit address is? Haha, you're fucked.
So, and then the scam aspects of it. When people first get in, they don't know all that stuff yet. They can be spending, and especially even the whole what was it when SegWit initially came out for Bitcoin and Litecoin, you could send to the wrong address, right? I think they were all 3 prefixes.
I don't remember that. For in terms of like if you were sending from like a Litecoin to a Bitcoin address.
Right, and it would get lost.
Yeah.
So
We've done that a few times. Like that happens regularly with like Doge addresses because they're also a capital D. So it's like.
Yeah. So now you got to look out for that. Now you got to read a 32 or however many digits the addresses are. Make sure those are all right. It's a lot.
Which is where BIC32 is nice with the error correction and things, but still, it's. I can't wait. So one of the other things. So I hope Yoshi doesn't mind me talking about this. One of the other things that's coming with iOS is the BIC32 support. So not only the way that Lite Wallet also behaves the same way, is you've got your what's like called the SPV core, which sits on the bottom. So this SPV core is what interfaces with the core wallets of people's, like, sitting on people's computers and things like that. And this SPV core is used both on iOS and on Android. It's used on both of them. So this SPV core is where big32 support needs to be predominantly added in and exposed to the others. So this is one of the other things that Yoshi's been working on for initially iOS, obviously because he's an iOS developer, but he's also a talented C developer, and he's working on maintaining that underlying SPV core. And then from there, we're also going to add that into Android, iOS, once it all comes out. So this is one of the other things, unfortunately, which is why it's been wheels in motion, yada yada. Is there... Bye!
I had to grab my charger.
That's right. It's one of the reasons why I'm presuming Light Wallet is also the same. You need to add big32 support.
I'm not sure if they have. Those addresses start with LTC, don't they?
Yeah, LTC1. I'm presuming.
So they actually I don't know if you're familiar with the Speedin app.
Yep.
So that actually has those LTC addresses.
Cool. Right, but the Light Wallet doesn't yet support it.
Yeah.
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 So
well, you can send it to.
Yeah, eventually. Like that's the goal for us as well. So you can send to it, but eventually we want all the addresses to just be generated and go, yep. Every time you spin up an address, you hit that receive button, you get your QR code, it's a big32 address. Which is great because then there's no problems with you accidentally sending your DigiByte to your Litecoin address or your Dogecoin address. And it's going to be better, obviously, for the fees because of storage on chain. It's still 4/5 of nothing, but whatever. So
right.
Again, though, big32. If we come back to my mom, why is she gonna care about what a big32 address is? Like, I kind of almost feel like we need to hide that shit in general. Like, let's just not give her the option at all.
Yeah, there's way too many options. I actually had a question about the Digi assets. Now, do you think that would ever bloat the DigiByte blockchain?
Yes.
If, say, millions of assets are created?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Because I forgot. Somebody asked me because they posted something on one of my tweets about the DigiHex if I was going to put on DigiBroker. I didn't even know what DigiBroker was. And I looked at it, I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, it's like an exchange for all the Digi assets, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it works quite well as well. It notices when you've deposited your funds, and then it'll tell the other person. It acts as basically what's that third-party middleman thing for eBay? That guard payment shield, whatever the fuck it is. Something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so you can do that. It'll go, right, they've paid you basically, you send them the asset, we send them funds, everyone. Cool.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of Digi assets on there.
Yeah.
I was surprised how many are on there.
Some of them useful, some of them pay with returns and things like that. Some of them are just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. So I'm pulling it up now.
But what was the question about?
Oh, if it's gonna eventually bloat the blockchain.
Probably.
What do you think would be the remedy for that?
So this is something that even just this last week I was talking with Noah, Gary, Jared, Yoshi about, and it's a tough one because who is to determine what is or is not a valid transaction?
Right.
If I want to send you DigiHex, I want to do it. That's cool. That's a valid transaction. What if I want to do it to you in 10 different scenarios? I want to send it to you 10 different times in a row. Probably still a valid transaction. It's tough because then what... how do you stop people from just making stupid, shitty transactions? There's got to be a cost to it. And right now, that's probably arguably one of the worst things about DigiByte is that cost is not high enough. It needs to be higher. It's dumb. It's actually just stupid. It's a problem.
Yeah.
especially because like that shit is kept on the blockchain forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's no going back. It's there. So, I mean, it's an interesting one, right? Because so, do I need the fact that I've gone and like you've seen those pictures, right? Like to buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin and you're spending $5 in fees.
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb. But then you see it obviously in Litecoin and DigiByte are much lower fees. But do you really need the fact that you paid for a coffee to be stored on a blockchain in perpetuity?
Yeah, that's a big problem with me. That's why I'm a big advocate for Lightning Network. I mean, even though they're slow in development, in my opinion. I mean, there's still problems with it and stuff, but like you said, do you really need to know this person's buying coffee every single morning or this person's?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
But it would be interesting. So instead, maybe like I don't think of it as the solution to the scaling problem overall. But interestingly enough, I think it has a place because you've got two options that I basically see. Number one, like let's say you're my coffee guy, and I go to you every morning. I'm like, yeah, I'll have my single shot espresso. Thank you very much. You're like, cool, that'll be $2.50. Thanks. Okay, so I give you the money. We don't need that transaction stored forever. Nobody gives a fuck. So maybe I prepay for a couple of them. Maybe I buy 10 and you give me like an 11th one free as like an incentive. Maybe we have now one transaction that's on chain and you just tick it off every morning. And I trust you because I see you every morning and so I know that you're not going to screw me over. Or at most, my exposure is limited because it's $25 for 10 coffees or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or the alternative to me prepaying for that is me having some kind of like a Lightning channel. But the problem then is funding that Lightning channel and getting funds back from that Lightning channel in one way or another. So what I need to do then is basically have other people routing through me to refund my Lightning channel that I've got other channels with. So I need like $100 there so I can have my shit going on with the coffee guy and pay him a couple bucks each day and then have funds coming back to me from somewhere else because I've fed someone else's Lightning channel or I don't know how the fuck that's going to work, but
yeah.
But it's that in and of itself is a solution to this problem where the fact is we don't need my coffee transaction to be on the blockchain every day. Like who gives a shit?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Are you really going to censor me from trying to pay you for coffee, or is somebody... Nobody cares.
Well, caffeine, that's it. You're cut off.
Yeah. Too much, Joe. No more. No more coffee. You need to go to therapy for that.
So can you actually put, in the future, maybe put Digi assets like on a side chain?
Yeah, and so that's an interesting one, because especially I've been watching the whole Mimblewimble and extension blocks. And that's interesting. The idea with extension blocks and some of the cool stuff that you could do with it, I think that's cool. And actually, so there's not a lot of people that have gone and put feedback on there, but I went and I put some feedback on there and I said, look, even if shit goes down with Mimblewimble and you decide against it, I still think that extension blocks are cool. I think they open up a lot of opportunities. I think it's a great idea. And even if you decide, well, Coinbase are going to delist us if we go, and Gemini will delist us if we do Mimblewimble, so we won't do Mimblewimble. Okay, cool, no worries, but still do extension blocks because I think they're nifty.
Right.
I mean, that's obviously just my opinion. Yeah, they're nifty, but I think it's worth pursuing.
Yeah, I mean it's.
What are your thoughts on Mimblewimble and extension blocks?
I'm half and half because the only thing I'm worried about is the exchange delistings.
Yep.
You know, because that's going to be a huge thing for people. If something like that happens, Coinbase comes out, you know, Binance, all these big ones, they come out and they say, you know, even though it's not fully on chain, you know, we still can't support that type of stuff. I mean, it's going to take a huge hit to the network.
I think as well what's really tough is it's not just specifically today, but if you were to go to Coinbase today or Binance today and go, are you cool if we do Mimblewimble? And they go, yeah, fucking sweet, man, no worries. Yeah. For you to then, and then it gets implemented. And then 12 months down the line they go, oh, actually, we're under some regulatory pressure, or China has decided now that you can't do privacy coins, only like Bitcoin basically, because they can audit the chain. So no Mimblewimble privacy stuff. So that, and then Binance go, well, sorry guys, we're not allowed to. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's always kind of going to be one of those risks.
I think the opt-in feature definitely helps that argument.
Yeah. That it's not mandatory. Because they could then get around that and just go, well, we're not supporting the Mimblewimble blocks.
The privacy end of it, yeah. I mean, they can use it if they want, but we try to push them towards main chain, I guess they could say.
So I don't think it's that big of a problem. It'll be interesting to see it happen. I think there's been mostly. It was interesting because I think he ran a poll, and 20% basically said. Was it 25% said no, 45% said not sure, and 35 also said yes or something. Those numbers don't add up. I'm aware of that, but it was something like that. Like more people abstained and basically just said I don't care. I whatever. I just want to see the vote results.
Yeah.
Then said yes or no, which was interesting. But more people said yes than said no, so if you take it at that, at face value, that's cool. That's mostly positive for people saying, yeah, I'm interested. I think it's cool. And for Litecoin to further... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I definitely think it's important, to have that fungibility. I mean, you don't want people looking at your checking account. It's the same exact thing. But
so I think though it's also important for Litecoin both to differentiate itself from Bitcoin as well. I think also to further, like, it's pushing the advancements forward. And again, I think if something like this were to happen, I mean, despite the fact that we've seen this previously with Mast not eventuating, I think if this did happen, that would further cement that kind of role and position for Litecoin rather than it being like a one-trick pony with SegWit. But I think it's also important, like you say, for that fungibility, if it is going to be used as a currency to prevent that kind of tracking. And I like that idea. I like what Johnny Litecoin talks about, using it as, like, sure, so maybe you don't use it for all of your payments or something, but maybe you use it where there are times where it could be sent certain things, or where you want to avoid those fees and things, or where you're going to a merchant who doesn't want to have chargebacks happen 6 months down the line. There's definitely a lot of positives and genuine, even in our Western world, options for it. So
yeah.
I think that's cool. I'd love to see it happen.
I mean, it is big, like you said, to differentiate, you know what I'm trying to say, from Bitcoin, because it's always been tied to Bitcoin, and that's a problem for a lot of people. Why would you buy Litecoin if you go just buy Bitcoin? It's the same thing.
Yeah, well, that's why we get a lot of shit from, it's not just like a Litecoin thing, but even DigiByte gets a lot of shit for that kind of thing from the, like Litecoin not Litecoin maximalists, from Bitcoin maximalists, even from the Bitcoin developers, like Luke Dash Jr. He's like, fucking hate Litecoin, rah-rah. Same for DigiByte. It's like, well, it just be, don't get me started. You get me wound up.
DigiByte does a lot more than most coins, though. I mean, I don't see any other coins doing the type of integrations and development.
Yeah, and I like that. It's interesting as well to see what's kind of happened with the foundation, especially seeing as, I mean, despite the fact that it's not rich right now, I think the fact that it has gone out there and pushed Litecoin and cryptocurrency in front of people in the UFC ring, like, that's cool. I think that's a great way to be spending some funds. It's certainly better than, what was that other one that just got hacked earlier today?
What, the coin?
Yeah, their foundation. They've been drained of all their pre-mine funds.
Really?
Fuck, where was it? Joel from Dash. What's he? The Desert Lynx. Hang on, let's have a look.
Where? Oh, it was Dash?
No, it wasn't Dash. He talked about it. VeChain. There we go. VeChain loses 2% of their entire coin supply in a hack. Their foundation lost it.
That's rough.
I mean, that sucks. It's kind of funny because it hasn't happened to us, obviously, because, like, we don't have a founder's reward. Neither does Litecoin. There's no founder's reward, so no founder to get hacked. Yay! Besides, his stuff's in SegWit addresses. It's all good, man.
right, Josiah, the number one question about decentralization. Ready? If you had to pick one thing that would make your golden egg of decentralization, is it going to be like nodes, miners, supply? What do you think it is? Or like a founder? If you had to start a coin and choose one of those to be your fully decentralized aspect.
That's a good one, because it's really easy for me to sit back here and just throw shade. But if I were starting something up, I think it would be the mining type.
Mm-hmm.
So let me explain. Basically, it's great that Bitcoin and Litecoin and Vertcoin are all proof of work. I think that's fantastic. It is arguably the most fair way to distribute things at the moment and maintain your security. I do think that there are advantages that come with, I mean, despite the fact that we pinched this from Myriad Coin, like, let's not beat around the bush about it, there are advantages to having both ASIC, FPGA, GPU, ideally also a CPU in the other one, and then fuck knows what you're going to do with the fifth. I think there are advantages to that come from the fact that you've now broadened your horizons in terms of the number of people that can mine it. So you're going to have your GPU miners. Hello, friend back there. You've got your GPU miners. You've got your CPU mining. So sure, maybe the CPU mining eventually gets overrun by a botnet. Who gives a shit? Because you've still got your ASICs for security, you've got your FPGAs for security, and your GPU mining. So there's a bunch of different things there that benefit the distribution, because not everybody who's CPU mining is going to GPU mine, who's going to FPGA mine, who's going to ASIC mine. And so I think that, for me, would be the main, over, say, a founder who's still active, or like with DigiByte, with the 0.5% pre-mine that was distributed to people to incentivize them to download the wallet. Sure, that was great at the time. And it helped, especially seeing as we see things like Ripple missing, 38,000 blocks or some shit. Just gone.
Oh, no. That was part of their test net. That doesn't count.
Oh, yeah.
That was beta testing.
Yeah, when they reset it for the third time, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how they... coin distribution is the big thing for me. I mean, I don't see how they can sit there and tell me that Ripple is decentralized. I don't care about the nodes, that they don't control them all. If you have 60% of the supply, how is that not centralized?
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy.
So what would you do if you were to start up Rob Coin tomorrow?
I think I would go with you with the mining. I think that's important to have that broad area of people that can mine, whether you're using a computer or GPUs or CPUs or ASICs or whatever it is. It just kind of puts it in a bubble when it's all ASIC mining. I know Bitcoin used to be, GPUs, and they kind of grew into ASICs, but for something to be truly decentralized, you got to allow everybody to access the network. And people that don't have the money can't mine it with ASICs. It just can't be done.
There's a huge barrier to entry.
Yeah, exactly. It's too difficult. Some families live on the cost of an ASIC miner. They live on that for a month.
Yeah.
So how do you expect them to do that?
So what are your thoughts on the idea then of, let's say, for example, it turns out that AutoCrypt and ProgPow end up being beaten and become ASIC mineable. What are your thoughts then on the idea of a project, prioritizing the idea of it being CPU specific, GPU specific, FPGA specific, and hard forking to make sure that stays the case, like Monero do with their GPU mining?
I mean, I think that's more acceptable than ASICs.
Yeah.
Although you won't get the security like you talked about. But then again,
right?
Yeah, I mean, then again, you can have a more decentralized network. I mean, I think that you should even be able to mine with your phone. You should be able to have a pool where everybody mines with their phone, mines with their laptop, whatever they want to mine with. They might not get a lot, they might get a fraction, a very, very small fraction. But ETN, Electronium, I know that thing's probably a scam, but you
Yeah,
do
it's
cloud mining.
bullshit with the mining. It's not actually mining, but
So you should be able to do some type of mining with any piece of equipment that you have.
that would be
No matter.
interesting. It would certainly like kill your fucking battery.
Oh yeah, but if they can say designate like 1 or 2 blocks a day for the cloud mining pool and distribute it evenly that way,
That's an
or
interesting thought. I wonder about like
'cause-
Raspberry Pis as well. Ooh.
yeah, I mean anybody that has a phone, you can do it. Everybody's part of the network.
I wonder if you could do that, like prioritize it. So you'd have like your x86, like your desktop CPUs, laptop CPUs, and then have ARM CPUs like you have in your Raspberry Pis and your cell phones and things. Ooh, that would be cool.
That's going to be in DigiHex.
There you go.
Cloud mining DigiHex.
DigiHex 2.0.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
All right, well, look, maybe we should start to wrap this up, man. That's a really cool note to start, like, to leave things on. You were gonna do like a bit of a giveaway. Are you wanting to do that?
Yeah,
Like,
so let's do my 1300 DigiByte giveaway. Everybody put your address in there, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna ask Josiah about these projects, if it's a scam or if it's not a scam.
I think I need to go find your link in case, because for the people that are in my where the fuck is it? Yep, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Let me just pop this in the chat for people to go copy. If you want something, whoops, go back to show chat. Here, I'll pop it in the live chat on my one. Go join his one. Say hi real quick. Post your address. I guess he's giving stuff away, so why not?
Yeah, what's up, guys? 1300 DigiByte going to somebody.
Okay, so scam or not a scam?
Bitcoin,
Yeah, that's legit.
XRP,
Fuck off.
Litecoin,
Yeah, that's legit.
DigiByte.
But, I mean, people know how I feel about the founder, but whatever. No, DigiByte, definitely a scam.
Scam? All right, don't buy DigiByte. Buy DigiHex.
By Digi...
Bitcoin Cash.
I'm not a fan.
Maybe not scam. Maybe we'll not call it a scam, but is it a little?
Is it necessary? No.
I guess.
Is it ethical? No. Should you use BSV instead of Bcash? Fuck yeah. Like but I mean, I'm not going to begrudge BSV the right to live, to experiment with something. Like so if you think about it, right, the difference between Bitcoin and Litecoin is that Litecoin's 4 times faster, 4 times max supply, and has a different mining algorithm. The difference between Bitcoin and BSV is like 1,000 times block size, and they're changing a couple of other like bits and pieces to encourage you to store shit on chain as opposed to not storing shit on chain. So in that in that aspect, I like it. I don't think Craig Wright is Satoshi. I think he's a scammer. Fuck him. But I think that BSV has a right to live, and I want to see where it goes. Right, like I want to see what happens when people store all their shit on chain. I think that's. I'm curious. I really am.
So you'd support BSV over Bcash?
Fuck yeah. Yep. Any day.
Cool. Very interesting.
But not Craig Wright.
Yeah, not the people behind it, but the project itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. All right. Fair enough. And Hex, scam or not a scam?
I like DigiHex. Hex itself, I don't know. I don't. I think the chain in and of itself, fine, but the idea that people are putting Ethereum into it, locking that up, Richard's getting that. I'm not a fan of that, but does that make it a scam if you know that you're just putting your Ethereum, like, you know you're not getting that back. You put your Ethereum in, you get your Hex. So you have my Ethereum, I get Hex. You're buying it, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
quite, but you know what I mean. Like it's. Does that make it
yeah.
a scam? If I've told you up front, if you give me $1 and I'm gonna give you back coffee, that's basically what we're doing. You give me Ethereum, I give you Hex. You give the DigiByte Foundation that Rudy, Hans, and Rutger are starting up DigiByte, you'll get DigiHex back. Doesn't mean it's a scam. Doesn't mean it's worth a shitload, though. Like, let's make no qualms about that. It does not mean it's worth shit.
Well, when you actually, here's the thing: when you actually put your Ethereum in the basket or pot, whatever I think they call it a pot or something.
Yep.
When you put it in, you have no clue how much hex you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
It's all dependent on how many people put their Ethereum in there.
Yep.
So for
you
that,
might get a lot, you might get a little, but no one knows what it's going to be worth anyway.
Yeah, that's iffy. If you buy $20 worth of DigiByte, you know you got $20 worth of DigiByte, despite whether the market moves up or down.
You still got that. Okay, I'm curious then. I want to ask you a couple then. Like let's ask you Ethereum.
Ethereum, if it's a scam or not?
Yeah.
I don't personally like Ethereum. I don't think it's a scam. I think a lot of the projects that are built on it are scams for sure. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a scam. I personally don't like it because of like the mining and the supply and stuff like that. I feel like it's never ending with the amount of blocks and very minor calculations that were messed up on Vitalik's end that caused this. I mean, it's like simple math, man, and it's just that's why they're moving to proof of stake now, right? Because the blockchain is just ridiculously long.
Okay, well, let's ask you XRP as well.
Scam, for sure, 100%.
What about Tether?
Oof.
Do we need to come back to that one?
I'm gonna say scam. I don't think it's bait. I don't think it's back 1-to-1.
I'd probably agree with you. I'm not 100%, but I mean that's probably a bad thing. It's something that you're supposed to be 100% certain of, and I'm not. So I'd agree with you there. Monero.
No, not a scam.
What about Cardano?
I mean, I don't know enough about Cardano. I kind of know what they're doing, but I haven't really looked into it too much. I know a lot of people shill it.
Yeah.
So, and somebody, I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but somebody bought ADA at the top. Is he here? I don't know if he's here. He'll know I'm talking about him if he hears. Bought it at the top, and somebody's anxious for it to get back to the top. So,
what about Binance Coin, BNB?
Scam.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't like it. What do you need Binance Coin for?
Yeah.
It's all it is to make them money.
Well, for the first 4 years of their exchange existing, you get lower fees if you trade with that.
Yeah, I mean, scam.
Okay, and one last one then. What about? Actually, I'll do two more. How about Tron?
Scam.
BSV then.
Definitely. BSV. Oh, man.
Because I can see you rolling your eyes a little bit before.
Yeah. I think BCH and BSV are not scams, but they're on that like teetering, probably not ethical type of thing. I mean, the problem I have with them is that
you got free money out of it, though.
Yeah, the airdrop, the free money. You're printing free money. So, I mean, I can fork Bitcoin now if I wanted to and make something. So, I'm not a big fan of anything without a Genesis block.
They would argue they have a Genesis block. But I wholeheartedly agree with you there.
Because they think they're Bitcoin, but the network chose. That was it. The hash rate tells the story.
Yep.
Did I get anybody post? I didn't get anybody posting.
I got a couple sent through on the chat here.
All right, so if you got some DigiByte addresses over there, pick one, send it to me. And let's go. How many you got there? Let's go.
Somebody's getting some DigiBytes.
So you got two addresses there?
Yeah.
All right, so you know what? I'm gonna send them both 6,500 each. How about that?
Nice. There we go.
Everybody wins.
Nice way to finish the stream off then. We should do that more often then. I don't know, like so I did that once. I did a giveaway with like some of the mining kit and stuff, and I don't think I've ever actually. That was like real low key. Just at the end of one of my videos, I didn't put it in any tweets. I didn't put it in the description. Like no nothing. I was just like, don't tell anybody because it's gonna reduce your chances. And it was really interesting to see that kind of happen. I don't know. Like I can't. Like you say that recent DigiByte influencer. I can't do it. Not because like I'm a cheap ass and I can't afford $10. But like I can't bring myself to do that.
It's unnecessary. But I mean, I don't support buying followers at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will monetize a tweet, but I won't ask for followers. That's just not going to happen.
I can't do it. I have a hard enough time at the end of my videos going, hey, hit the like, subscribe, share, reach me in the comment section below or on Twitter. Like,
yeah.
Even that I struggle with, so Michael sends a message saying he loved the stream. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that, man. We I don't know about Rob, but I had a good time. This was cool.
Yeah, definitely. So 650. So I said 6,500. It was 1,300 giveaway. So it's 650 each. All right.
It's free.
Don't get excited.
Free
it's
DigiBytes. It's cool, man. All right, everybody. We're gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Where should people catch you if they want to find out
Twitter,
more about?
See, and then Rob D's the YouTube channel.
Put that in there. We'll go at Boiling Point LLC. Actually, it's even in the title for the video. So there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Yeah, we've got some more people like the stream. Thank you so much. This was fun. I've had fun. We'll do this again sometime. We'll chew the fat. We'll find out some more scams and stuff. Want to keep us posted on how you go with the DigiHex and getting that sent to people and stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure. Nice to see you. We'll talk to you in the next video. Cheers.